In 2023, I reviewed a Troxus Explorer. That was a fat tire bike that I picked out as one of my favorite budget e-bikes of the year. Well, Troxus is back with their Lynx Plus, and let's see if this awesome looking blue Lynx Plus is really worth the money. Now, over the last year, I've reviewed a ton of e-bikes, and I personally have found that the 20-inch wheel size that has fat tires seems to be one of my favorites just because of the versatility. Now, just like the Troxus Explorer that I reviewed last year, the paint job, absolutely stunning. This is their blue color. They do offer two other colors. And one thing I've noticed in all of the Troxus bikes that I've reviewed is there's kind of a little bit of glitter inside the paint. So it really shines and pops when the light hits it. And also in the paint, all the logos are underneath the clear coat, so you don't have to worry about these logos peeling off on you. Now, as for rider comfort and ease of use, the step-through design is going to be super easy to be able to get on and off this bike. And these BMX-style handlebars are going to give you this upright feel and give you the flexibility to be able to move them back and forth, all depending on your riding style. Then you get this nice, large Troxus seat that's super squishy and has a handle back here so you can easily pick up the back end of the bike and maneuver it around. Also in the comfort area, you are going to get these ergonomic grips. The paddles on the ergonomic grips aren't as big as what I've seen in other brands, but they do feel really nice in the hand. And these grips are also going to be lock-on, so you don't have to worry about them twisting or slipping off on you. Now, also on the comfort side of it, you are going to get a front fork. This is going to be a hydraulic fork, so it's going to be perfect for road use. It will be able to handle some off-road use, but these hydraulic forks tend to perform best on standard roads and sidewalks. Now, if you're looking for grip, these Kenda Crusade tires that come on these 20-inch wheels have some massive grip on them, and they should hold up really well. I've been really impressed with Kenda tires in the past, and based off of what I'm seeing here, these look like these are going to be very promising also. Now, one thing that I do like to see on any bike is a quality drivetrain, and this is going to have a Shimano drivetrain. You're going to get an 8-speed Shimano shifter up front on your handlebars, along with a Shimano Altus rear derailleur to help you smoothly shift through all 8 gears. Now, Troxus did include a headlight and a tail light on this bike. As for the headlight, they did mount it really nice and high up here behind the computer, which is nice to see because that gives you just a little bit more visibility at night. But in the back here, you do get this really nice looking premium taillight that has a reflector built in, but will also indicate whether you're braking and has built-in turn signals. Now in the middle of the handlebars, you are going to get a nice color display. It's going to display your battery life, your miles per hour, your pedal assist level, and then you have trip, odometer, max speed, and average speed, along with your mileage that you've ridden. Now on the left, you are going to get your control pad that's going to have your up and down for your pedal assist levels. This also indicates that you can do a walk mode by holding down the minus button. And then you also get your left and right turn signal button. And then over on the right turn signal, if you hold that down, that will turn on and off your headlight.
Now, something I want to show you guys really quick that I think is super cool on this bike, you can actually switch between cadence sensor and torque sensor on this bike. So it has both of them built in. How you do that is super simple. You just hold the plus button for a little bit. And if you see this bike icon up here, that means that you are in cadence sensor mode. And if it's gone, that means that you are in torque sensor mode. This is a super cool feature that I've never seen on any other bike.
Now this does come with a thumb throttle instead of a twist throttle, which is my preference. And this one feels pretty decent. I've seen this particular throttle on other bikes and it works relatively well. Now, in my opinion, one of the most important things that come on any bike are the quality of the brakes. And they didn't skimp on this. They went with some Tektro hydraulic brakes that also have motor cutoff switches on them. I've had extremely good luck with Tektro brakes, and I really do like the fact that you can find brake pads for these really easily on Amazon or at your local bike shop. Now, as for the rotors and calipers on this, the front comes with a 2-piston caliper with a 180 millimeter rotor, and the rear is also going to come with a 2-piston caliper with a 160 millimeter rotor on there. 27.1. These brakes are phenomenal as suspected. Tektro makes some of the nicest brakes, in my opinion, on the market, and they are super comfortable to grab onto and squeeze. And as you can hear, that motor cutoff switch is working perfectly. If you haven't ever ridden a 20-inch fat tire bike, These things just ride so well. They're super comfortable. It's the ideal bike, in my opinion, for cruising around the city, just because they're more compact and they're a lot more nimble, and you just feel a lot more comfortable on them. Now, looking towards the back here, this is one of my favorite things about this bike. This rear rack is extra sturdy compared to some other brands. The average brand will hold between 45 and 55 pounds on the rear rack, but this one is rated for 100 pounds. So you can tote a lot of stuff on this. Not only that, they made this rack look really nice, custom built for this bike with this nice black tubing that goes from round tubing to square tubing. But my favorite thing is this wood paneling that they put on the back here. It's not just one piece of wood. It's 3 individual strips of wood that give this bike just a little bit extra character. And Troxus didn't cheap out by giving you some inexpensive plastic fenders. They went with metal fenders, both front and back. Now up front here, it does have a 46 tooth chain ring, which I am a little bit concerned that might be a little bit too small and cause some ghost pedaling as we get up above 20 miles an hour, but we're gonna have to test it out on our test ride. Now Troxus does give you a nice set of keys that will help you remove this battery, and that's all these keys are gonna be used for. Now once you remove this battery, you'll be able to either charge it inside your house, or you can leave it on the bike to also charge it. Now, one of the tricks on this, since this is an extremely large 20 amp battery, whenever you go to remove it, just turn the wheel a little bit, that way it can get past the fender. Now, this battery is a 48 volt battery that has 20 amp hours. You should be able to get somewhere between 70 and 90 miles is the estimated range on this bike, which is absolutely massive. But also, these are Samsung cells that are UL certified, so you don't have to have any concerns about charging this battery, whether it's in your house or in your garage. And speaking of charging the battery, this comes with a nice, newer looking design than what I saw last year on the Troxus Explorer. And it also is a 3 amp charger. So you're looking at only about 6 to 7 hours to fully charge this massive 20 amp battery. Now, by far, the most important part of any e-bike is going to be the electronics. We already know that this has quality Samsung cells that are 48 volts, but the rear motor is also just as important. This is a 48 volt, 750 watt Bafang motor. That's right, they didn't go with just a generic motor, they went with a name brand motor, and that's what I really liked about the Troxus Explorer last year, is that they went with that name brand Bafang motor. You know that this is gonna be high quality. It's not just a cheap no-name motor back here. This one is built to last. Not only that, it comes in with right around 85 Newton meters of torque. I think this thing's gonna be a really good hill climber. All right, we're gonna head over to the big hill and see what this thing can do. If you guys aren't familiar with the hill, it's a 19% grade, and it pushes these bikes pretty well going up it. With 85 Newton meters of torque, 750 watts on a 48 volt system, yeah, shouldn't be any problems at all. All right, we're at the bottom of the hill. Let's go ahead and get some throttle going. Pedal assist 5. Get this thing up to speed here, all the way up to this crack, and get going. And I'm gonna keep it in cadence sensor mode, just because that's how I feel it's gonna be best for hill climbing, and the fact that you can switch between cadence sensor and torque sensor so easily. Let's put this down in gear 7. Now, this is about 12, 13%-ish right here. Quickly gets to 15. At this driveway, it gets to 19%. This is where the bikes generally drop below about 10 miles an hour. If we can keep it around 10 miles an hour without having to put a ton of effort in, I say it's a win. And we're looking at about 12 miles an hour, 11 miles an hour at the steepest part. Here's 10, we're down to 9, 9.7, 9.6, starting to gain now, starting to get a little bit less steep. Back up to 10. All right, so we are reaching the top here, about ready to gain even more speed. Overall, this bike did relatively well on the hill climb, a little bit below average on the hill climb, but I didn't feel like I was pushing very hard, so that's the good thing. Thing is I didn't feel like I had to put much effort in, and I was still going relatively fast up that hill. I don't think this bike has any problems climbing hills by any means. May not be the fastest up it, but it will definitely get you up there without you having to put effort in. Now we're gonna do the coast test. This is where I get it up to about 17, 18 miles an hour, and we coast down this hill just to see how well this bike does in kind of like an easy coast. Now it's super windy out, so a little bit of a disadvantage to this bike, but I don't generally expect my 20-inch wheel bikes to be very fast. So even with a major headwind, I got up to about 33, 34 miles an hour there. But overall, this bike so far is no surprise to me. The Troxus brand has just been a good quality brand. I love the fact it's got the Bafang motor, the Tektro brakes. The styling of it is really nice, super easy to get on and off. Kenda tires, it's just a nice overall bike. If you guys are interested in picking one of these up while you're watching this, definitely use my links down below. That helps me out, and it's no additional cost to you guys. So now that you've seen this bike in action and we know all the details there are to know about this bike, let's go over the things that I love about this bike and the things that I don't quite love about this bike. And to no surprise, there are more things that I love about this bike than there are things that I think need to be changed on this bike. But first, let's go over the things that I love about it. I love the paint job that Troxus puts on all of their bikes. These bright colors that they put on there with this glittery effect and the logos being underneath the clear coat just gives it that extra bit of quality that you expect out of a bike that's gonna run around $2,000. The next thing I really like is the styling of this rack. This rack is just one of the coolest racks I've seen. These three pieces of wood on here really give it kind of a beach vibey feel. And the fact that this thing can hold 100 pounds, they went above and beyond to make this a true plus bike version of the Lynx. And I think that they did an awesome job. Now, the last thing that I want to say that I love about this bike, even though there's a lot more, is the one thing that surprised me the most that I have never seen on any other brand. And that's the dual action cadence sensor and torque sensor built in. The fact that you can switch between the two of them is super cool. It makes this bike really versatile. That way, no matter what, if you prefer a cadence sensor or a torque sensor, you can have your choice. Or if you're like me, maybe there's some days you don't want to put in as much effort and that cadence sensor will come into play. But there's other days where you want to get a little bit of an extra workout and the torque sensor is there just for that. Now let's go over a few of the things that I wish were changed just a little bit. The first thing is going to be this screen. This screen's a pretty nice screen, but it is definitely a very generic screen. I really like the fact that it's color, but honestly, I think that with the price point that this bike's coming in at, they could have gone with just a little bit higher premium screen, but this isn't a make or break deal for me because I know that this screen's going to be reliable and it is bright enough to see out in the daylight. Now, the second thing that I wish was a little bit different on this bike, it has to do with the cadence / torque sensor. Now, I did say that I love the fact that it's a cadence and a torque sensor and you get to pick. However, the torque sensor is not super sensitive. It does have just a slight bit of on-off feel and sometimes can feel a little bit jolty. Now, that might be something that could be fixed with software upgrades, but I do appreciate the fact that you get to choose between the two. I think that will really be a big game changer for this particular bike. However, I do wish that they could dial in the sensitivity of that torque sensor just a little bit more. It's not that far off. It's definitely better than not having it, but it could just be a little bit better. So there you go. That's the Troxus Lynx Plus. And this bike is really, really nice. I absolutely love the Troxus brand. Every bike that I've ridden of theirs just feels like a quality bike. And I think this is going to be a really good bike for somebody who wants something that's easy to get onto, easy to ride around, is maneuverable, isn't super heavy, but has the benefits of a fat tire e-bike, and also wants a little bit of extra utility and long range. Now, this bike does come in at a little bit higher price than what we would see some of the competitors, but I do feel like you get some premium stuff on here. So at the $2,000 price point, it may be on the top end of bikes that are in this style, but I do think Troxus has a very nice bike on their hands here. And if you guys want to pick one of these up, I would appreciate it if you used my links down below, as that lets Troxus know that you came from my video, and it also helps out this channel at no additional cost to you. All right, guys, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more bike-related videos or more e-bike reviews, make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.